All right, Trumpers, come and get me, fuck faces. Here we go. Listen, Donald Trump and his tariffs are back at it. I don't understand why, because here's the thing. You and me are paying for these damn tariffs. And here's the thing. Let me break it down for you MAGA freaks, okay? When you go to the grocery store and the shit is more expensive, you go buy a can of beans and the beans is normally $1 and now they're $2, you're paying for the tariffs because the companies are not eating it. And Donald Trump is saying that we've raked in billions, if not trillions of dollars on tariffs. Why are we not being transparent with where this money's going? Not only that, he's also talking about implementing more tariffs throughout the world, which is also going to create more job loss, just like with John Deere laying people off, Walmart laying people off. The company that I work for, we are going on a hiring freeze starting next month. We are not hiring any more bodies. They will shift people around where I work because of Donald Trump's tariffs. We're getting a week off for Thanksgiving. We're getting a week off for Christmas. We've already been told that. The place that I work, we work 24/7, 7 days a week. That building runs, but not off Donald Trump. So tell me how we're fucking thriving. If you think we're thriving, you are delusional. Go look at yourself in the mirror because you're crazy.
The United States has lost over 800,000 jobs this year so far under the Trump administration, and that is the most jobs lost from January to July since 2020. And remember who was president back then? Donald Trump. Donald Trump is so mad about the jobs report that he's now claiming that it was rigged. Everything that he doesn't like is rigged. And by the way, the job report was not rigged. We thought we'd gain over 100,000 jobs this July. We didn't. It was closer to 70,000. The economy is slowing. People are losing work. Manufacturing jobs are laying off people because of tariffs, and things could get worse. Tariffs are about to increase for so many different countries. The list goes on and on. And by the way, Donald Trump is threatening tariffs with countries just in the middle of the night, it seems. This is absolutely insanity. I know there's one job I'd like to see lost, though. I'd like to see Donald Trump removed from office. He is a liability to the well-being of our nation. He is an economy killer. This dude destroyed our economy in 2020, and he's doing it again.
What's crazy is that so many people think the man that went bankrupt 6 times is going to fix our economy.
It's astounding how bad Donald Trump is for the economy. Like, he's worse for the economy than a global fucking pandemic was. Large company bankruptcies are happening more than they were in 2020. Filings for long-term unemployment is more than they were in 2021. And because of that unemployment, and because Trump is a fucking moron, he's pressuring the Fed to lower interest rates, which they probably will. But there's also inflation because, again, Trump is a moron and he keeps doing the fucking tariff bullshit. And then on top of that, you can add the fact that the AI bubble is popping and they're taking visas away from truck drivers, which is, yeah, great way to fix the economy. Get truck drivers off the road. We need less of them. Just like a group of economic policies that is so incoherent, so at odds with each other, that it is worse than the whole world shutting down for a couple months. The man is so fucking stupid.
Massive unemployment underway. That is these things that we call, quite layoffs. Quite layoffs, eh? They're happening a lot in this country, eh? Quite layoffs. Because of an economic uncertainty, people are forced to withhold cash because they don't know what tomorrow might bring. Eh? And that's the reason our economy is suffering a lot because people are holding cash. When you don't know what future brings, you can't invest because you don't know which tariffs will come next. What is the direction of the economic tomorrow? Because a guy who wakes up in the morning or maybe at the midnight and decides this is the direction I'm taking for the economy without consulting anyone, without maybe thinking about the effects of that on the general economy, I don't know. Because one thing I've known about the financial sector, it needs stability. And that's one thing that Donald Trump cannot provide, stability. So when we lack stability, consumer trust erodes, bankers trust erodes. So yeah, no one knows about the direction of the economy tomorrow. That's why people are holding their cash and our economy is suffering a lot.
Less than an hour after Trump announced the 25% tariffs on both Mexican and Canadian goods starting tomorrow, our stock market is now in free fall, with the Dow Jones plummeting over 800 points. When Trump said he was going to make America great again, apparently he actually meant to say he was going to crash the American economy, because that is what is unfolding in front of us in real time. And I know that many of you all voted for him because he was going to lower the price of eggs. And not only is that not happening, but the 25% tariffs are going to be a big impact on many Americans in this country. It is really unclear what happens from this point forward. But one thing that is very clear is that the U.S. is a giant embarrassment on the world stage currently. Please go ahead and follow me on my other platforms if you don't already. The link is in my bio.
When you fire people, of course unemployment rises. When you make people scared to work here by sending your goons to job sites, of course unemployment rises. When you deport massive amounts of people, of course unemployment rises. And when you put tariffs on the economy that just raise prices on everybody, of course unemployment rises. Like, this is what everyone said before even Trump got into office, not because they hate Trump, but because it's obvious. When you hurt the economy gets hurt. But Trump's unwilling to accept this fact. And when he saw that, we had fewer jobs than we thought we would have, well, he wasn't willing to accept that fact. He'd rather have alternative facts. So he fired the head of the BLS. This is bad. This isn't normal, nothing that really matters, but we can't have a president who looks at the consequences of his actions, and rather than admitting they were bad and that he should change course, will just fire the person in charge of telling him the truth. Trump has bad economic policy.
That's true. Trump has bad economic policies. When you're wrong, you just admit you're wrong. This guy is literally surrounded by hundreds of economic experts who maybe are willing to give him advice on what to do and what not to do, but because of his ego, he is not willing to listen to them. He's not willing to listen to them. There is this job report that came out. Only 77,000 jobs were created. What did he do? He fired the lady in charge of those statistics. He fired her. Was the lady wrong in doing so? Because during the Biden administration, this lady gave even negative figures of the job numbers created during the Biden era. He gave negative numbers. But did Biden fire her? No, he didn't. Because he was a guy of logic. So me believes that Trump, Joe Biden is what Trump thinks he is.
Hello! This is We Told You So, episode 145. This one is mostly how we told you that Trump and the Republicans were going to do absolutely nothing for the American people, and they were just going to continue to burn money. So if you remember a few weeks ago, Trump took a walk on the White House roof, and when he was asked what he was doing, he said, "Oh, I'm trying to find ways to spend my money." And then he corrected himself and said, "I mean spend my money for the American people." Well, since his big beautiful turd made it through Congress, Frozen Water and the DHS now have a bunch of money. So Kristi Noem decided, how can we blow that money on bullshit? I know, we'll paint the whole southern border wall black. At a cost of roughly $500 million. Brought to you by the man who bankrupted multiple casinos, ladies and gentlemen. And this is all while Republicans, thinking that they are beloved by the American people somehow, continue to get booed and heckled away from events at their own district. Elise Stefanik recently went to speak in front of a group in New York, and she was booed and heckled so badly that she just left the stage. And needless to say, afterwards, she blamed the whole thing on leftists being terrible people. But then again, it really shouldn't be that surprising, seeing as how protests are popping up all over the country demanding that Trump and the Republicans get the fuck out of power. Especially with Trump bending over backwards and simping for Putin like always, and his demands saying that he's going to sign an executive order to ban absentee ballots and voting machines before the midterms. Something he once again does not have the power to do. Because the power over how elections are run is determined solely by the states. And as the secret police, made up of masked individuals with no ID and an unlimited budget, continue to haul people off the street and throw them into unmarked vans, they love to claim that they're just getting rid of criminals, yet they're targeting people who are either here legally or people who do not have a criminal record. It's continuing to harm our economy and our food supply, as 75% of agricultural workers are migrants. Yet a California congressman who openly spouts racist bullshit on Twitter all the time and he apparently hopes that he's going to be governor, which is never going to happen, posted on social media a picture of himself in front of Auschwitz saying this is his plan for 0% unemployment. These people are absolutely disgusting. And while prices continue to go up and the economy goes further down the toilet, Trump and his people claimed they were getting rid of wasteful spending by taking away people's Medicaid and their benefits and their health care. Meanwhile, he spends a third of his presidency golfing at about $10 million a trip. His DHS secretary is planning on spending $500 million on paint, and he is planning to spend $200 million on a ballroom for the White House. Which, along with his joke the other day that he was going to start a war in order to do away with elections, this is all further evidence that he doesn't plan on going anywhere, because that expensive ballroom he's building isn't set to be finished until the end of his term. And we all know the type of person Trump is. He would never build an expensive ballroom for somebody else to use. This has been We Told You So. Trump recently mused about whether or not he's going into heaven. Let's hope he gets that answer really soon.
Hey, MAGA, what about those jobs numbers? Only 70-something thousand jobs added in this economy. I remember when Joe Biden was adding over 200,000 jobs a month. God, do I miss President Biden. Inflation is tearing this country apart, but thanks to the tariffs, we're all feeling it right now, especially at the grocery store. How do you feel knowing that you own the libs? We're owning the libs. Donald Trump has not done jack shit for the middle class in this country. The people that are happy, the people that are satisfied and content and jubilant right now are the top 1% who are getting a big old tax cut. Woo! These are the most embarrassing job numbers that I've seen in quite some time. And it's just going to get worse. The cost of things are just going to go through the roof. I think between 20 and $30 billion was lost between GM and Ford. Winning America first. Let's just go gut all the factory workers. Hey, are we feeling great yet? Yeah. How about those grocery prices? Unbelievable. You know, racism and bigotry and owning the libs is expensive, isn't it? Maybe you should have voted for Kamala Harris.
Car companies, like General Ford, they laid their workers. They laid off their workers. John Deere laid down its workers. Microsoft had recent massive layoffs. Why? An economic uncertainty caused by Donald Trump. His economic policies only work in his imaginary world, and some bunch of MAGA supporters. Farms in US are collapsing under the pressure of no international market because of tariffs. You saw the boycott of American beef in Canada. You saw, and American wine and other products in Canada. You saw. So this has caused a great economic depression in US. He claims that we are collecting much in tariffs. Where is that money going? Which he claims that he is collecting through tariffs. Where is he going? Are we getting tax cuts? Are we? Are you got any tax cuts? Are we getting any kickbacks, as he claimed? Are we? Because if he, as he claims, you are collecting billions of US dollars, probably maybe we should have some our tax cut, maybe our health care paid for maybe a year. If that is so that we can see maybe he's doing something. But the tax cuts, the Dodge cuts, which he claimed were made, were a fallacy. We are currently under recession. I don't know. People are holding their money. No jobs are being created. Only firing, only firing. You are fired. You have been laid. You have been laid off. You are fired. You have been laid off. You are fired. Trucking businesses are collapsing because no imports due to tariffs. These tariffs have caused many small businesses to cut back. So what does these trucking companies do? They reduce their number of workers. They become jobless overnight. So we are in deep trouble as a country. So guys, if you believe what you are doing, bringing light to darkness is good. Give us a subscribe, give us a like, give us a comment. It goes a long way in casting this darkness in Donald Trump. I'll appreciate.